Hi everyone, it's Mark here, Arts and Culture Network. I'm back with Kaonis Thomas, who's one of our valued community members and a full member of the Arts and Culture Network, where we have approaching 26,000 members in May 2023. So 2023 was very exciting. This is a bit of fun that I'm going to have with Kaonis to give you guys an opportunity to get to know him a bit better through some questions I'm going to ask. So I'm going to ask Kaonis for his favorite or a notable in each of 10 categories across the arts and culture sector. And I should point out that Kaonis has had absolutely no warning of this. So we'll see what happens. Kaonis, thank you for joining me.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, and I should point out that you're fueled by coffee because it's 7 a.m. for you. It's 1 p.m. for me, so I'm fully awake, but it's kind of you to do this. I'm sorry to put you on the spot so early in the morning. So okay, so your first question is, do you have a favorite building, and if so, why?
Wow, a favorite building. For some reason, I like the Eiffel Tower. And I like it because it seems like a structural steel that's bolted and welded together, and it's a tall building that people could enter. And it's a landmark, so I enjoy seeing that. And it's noticeable wherever you are when you show that Eiffel Tower. People automatically zooms into France.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely. I don't like using the phrase, but it's iconic, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
become absolutely synonymous. You almost only need to do that and people think Paris. So
And I tell you, I went to the Eiffel Tower, and I didn't go inside, but I went across the street and I noticed there were a lot of artists out there doing portrait drawings. And so I spent my time watching them do portrait drawings, thinking, wow, that's something I should be doing. But
and look at you now. And
yeah,
you are doing,
I've
yeah,
always been fascinated with portrait art.
brilliant. It's so interesting, isn't it? Because it's another dimension beyond photography. Photography, yes, you can manipulate photographs, but there is no imagination in photography in the output. It's a light-based reflection of what was actually there. But the wonderful thing about portraiture is that it goes a bit further than that, and it's fascinating. And a good example would be Picasso. It doesn't look like the person, but you get his interpretation of that person. It's fascinating. Yes. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's number one done. And do you have a favorite book?
Wow, a favorite book. And I'm doing a lot of reading right now. And I've thought about this a lot in my past. I think my favorite book is the Bible. Why the Bible? Because it's like an instruction manual, and if we live by the Bible, I think that'll be a commendable life, and is very instructional.
Yeah, love that. That's a great answer. It's got some wonderful stories in it. It's got some wonderful teaching in it. And I think you're right. If you could spend your life living in line with the teachings in a book like the Bible or others, I imagine,
yes.
The Quran, the Talmud, that if you can live a life that's in line with the main sort of documentation of the religion to which you adhere to, I think you'll end up being a good person. So I like that. That's a great one. Okay, next question is, do you have a favorite dancer or dance group?
No, do not have a favorite dancer, a dance group, but I have a daughter that's doing dance right now. She's doing a great job. She's 15, and I think she's going to be a great dancer if she continues along this path.
Then she is your favorite dancer. There we go. That's fantastic. Okay, this one's fun. Okay, I want you to assume that you've been banished from the United States for some reason. Okay, and you have to choose another country to live in, and you can choose it based on your appreciation of their culture. So what country would you choose to live in if you couldn't live in the US?
Wow, that's interesting because it's so many different choices. I'm pulled toward, in one sense, London, and I'm also pulled in one sense anywhere in Africa. I've never been to Africa, so parts of me want to go to Africa just to breathe the air and walk around and get a feeling of what it would be like if I was, I guess, home.
That's great. I love that. Yeah, I'll let you have both. You can have a home in somewhere in Africa, and you can have a home in London. There we go. You can come to London when it's too warm in Africa. There we go. Okay, so as a participant or a spectator, do you have a favorite sport?
Ooh, a favorite sport. Wow. I team sports, I like football, basketball. Individual sports, I like boxing and the martial arts. So that's a tough one. Favorite? Ugh, I don't know. I don't have a favorite.
That's okay. Do you participate in any sport?
Not right now. I'm in the process of learning Tai Chi, so I'm a beginner Tai Chi
Ah,
person. And I do mean
nice.
a beginner. It's less than a year, but I'm gaining a great appreciation for Tai Chi and the ways in which it can improve your life and stress and high blood pressure and meditation and strength. So there's a lot to the seemingly wonderful dance, and there has a martial art application also.
Yeah, nice. I like that. Not had that one before. That's great. Now this is tough. If you could only listen to one genre of music, one type of music for the rest of your life, which would it be?
Wow, if it was for the rest of my life, one for
Only
the rest
one.
of my life, it has to be something orchestral or instrumental. Because
Okay.
if it's orchestral or instrumental, technically you could tie any thought into it because it's universal.
Yeah, nice. Okay, got that. Do you have a favorite visual artist who you admire?
Um, I really like Picasso, and he's my favorite visual artist because I like how he broke out of the traditional art and he decided to do something different, and it was beneficial. It
Yeah.
started a
So
whole movement.
there's a lovely story about Picasso. He was sitting in a Parisian cafe, and an American tourist spotted him and recognized him and asked him if he would do a sketch of her on his napkin. And he said, certainly. And so he did a quick sketch of the tourist and held it up for her. And she went to take it. And he said, that'll be $10,000. And she said, how can you charge $10,000? That took you 30 seconds. He said, no, my dear, it took me 40 years.
Yes.
So I love that story about him. Okay, moving on. Sorry, I digress. I'm moving
Oh,
on.
that's a great
Um,
story.
yeah,
That's
it's worth, yeah, I
accurate.
mean, it's true though. People don't realize the work that goes in for all of us. If we're doing something that's considered of value, um, there's a lot of work goes into being able to do that. And I read somewhere that if you want to become an expert at anything, you need to spend 10,000 hours doing it.
I
And
could agree with that.
yeah, that's the average apparently. So excellent. Right. Now, do you have a favorite film, or is there a film you can watch again and again and enjoy it every time?
Again and again and again. Ooh, I like Gone with the Wind because it has a historical element and I can watch it over and over and over. I also like the movie Glory. It relates to the Civil War, and that's a great story in that movie. I guess I cheated my name too, but I guess
That's,
I think war movies, which is weird. I like war movies.
yeah, that's a busman's holiday, as they call it, isn't it? You spend your life in the military and then spend your retirement watching war movies. That's brilliant.
Or playing
And
chess.
and for the final one, with the exception of me, who was the last person to make you laugh?
Wow. With the exception of you, the last person. So I have to go back to yesterday. I went to a music recital and it was these little kids. They're like 4 or 5 years old and they're dancing on stage. And they're kind of lost in their dance. And that made me laugh because they're so young and they're starting their career now.
Brilliant. Love it. Kaonis, thank you so much. I'm going to put links into to where people can find you having watched this, but I love doing this because I feel as though I know you better now, having done those questions, and I imagine so will everyone else. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Those answers may change next month.
Yes, they might. We'll have to do it again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.